Good morrow, lady and lord artistes, and welcome to another episode of You Saw It, Now Draw It. And we are going to be doing a fairy tale castle today. And my name is Scott Gabala Broxome, and I'm an illustrator, author, and caricaturist. And get your paper and pencil ready, and that's just what we're going to do. This castle right here. Couple quick facts about castles. It's the word castle's actually from the Latin word castellum, I believe it's pronounced, which actually means fortified place. Castles were, in reality, true castles were actually cold, damp, dark places. They really didn't have any windows with glass in them. They were often built on top of hills so they could better see the enemy coming from far away, or in this particular case, the classic moat around them, which made them harder to be able to be attacked. But as you can see by the pictures, the windows are very thin and there are no glass in them. Castles that had windows in them, or more elaborate, were actually built more as homes. Even though they were stone and had the turrets and looked like castles, this is an actual genuine castle. And that's what we're going to draw today. So we'll turn it into a bit of a fairy tale castle in a bit. But right now, let's look for those shapes first and then the details afterwards. So if we're going to draw this castle, we've got the towers over here. But I think once again, as we've often done with the animal pictures as well, we're going to start in the center first and then build out from that. So on your paper, what we're going to do, and it's about in the center here, we're going to forget that these are right here for now. And what we're just going to focus on is the shape behind that, which is essentially what? Well, a rectangle, but almost a square actually. I think it actually more looks like we're gonna do this on the top later. With just this part right in here. So what we'll do, let's see, find the center of the page here, and what we're gonna do is draw a square. Actually, I think I'll make my square a little bit longer like this. Okay. All right, now we've got the square. And that's this part right in here behind these two towers. So what we're going to do next, we're going to put the towers in. So what we're going to do is, it's almost as if I measured this tower, it's almost like you could fit a third tower in between here. So what we're going to do, over on the left side here, we're going to come in and we're going to draw a line that comes down like this, like that. Okay. We're going to come on the other side and come in this much here. We're going to come in about this far and draw the line down like that. Okay. Then what we're going to try and do, as best as you can, we have to divide this space up into three parts. So I'm going to put a little line here and a little line here and see if there's the same amount of space between each one of these here. Same here, and then about same over there. And then what you're going to do, of course, is you're going to draw them down like this. Okay. Once you've done that, what we're going to do, we're going to focus on the inside part here for a second. And what's happening here is these two towers, there's a space that goes back before you get through to this part. In other words, what's going to happen is we're going to go down here, and right in the center here, we're going to draw a line farther up like that. Okay. And then take your eraser and erase this part like that. What we're going to do in this center part here, we're going to start, well, you know what, it might be easier this way. Let's do it this way. What we're going to do is right here, right near the top, we're going to draw sort of a flattened upside down U, like a frown on a face. And what we're going to do is we'll bring the lines down like this, and we'll bring the other one down on the other side like that. That's this archway right here in the castle. That's what we're putting in here. Then we're going to come up not quite halfway, a little bit lower. We're going to put a line that goes across like this. That's this line right here, isn't it? Then we're going to put this archway in here. Now this archway, instead of a U, it's not really pointed, but it comes up at a little more of an angle, doesn't it? Before we come back down like this. Almost to a point, but not quite. Okay, I'm going to put one more arch in here, and then we're going to stop and we'll go on here for some more shapes. There is one more arch here. It's a little more like this rounded one back here. I don't know if you can see it. It's underneath the gate here, which we'll put in later too. So what we're going to do is one more smaller, flattened out, upside down U, one more frown face there, and then bring the lines down like this. Okay, stop with it there, with that part anyway. Then we're going to go back up here, and we'll start to put some of this on here. So we're right about here. So what we're going to do is, this tower over here, these two lines, we're going to bring a couple little diagonal lines up like that. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Then we're going to go up, straight up like this on both these sides, like this, and straight up from the diagonal sides on the other. Okay, now we're going to bring this across, but I don't know if you can see this, it rounds off a little bit here on the sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up a little bit at a curve, we're going to bring it across and round it off on the other side like that. Do the same thing here, we'll come up a little bit, round it off, bring it across, and round it off on the other side like that. Now I know there's spaces in between, but we'll get to that later. Back here, same thing back here then. What we're going to do is diagonal line coming up, diagonal line coming up. We're going to come up here, straight line, not quite as high as this one. Do you see this part here, the top is a little lower than that? So we're going to stop, round it off, and come over till it touches like that. See, it's a little bit lower. Same thing here, come up with a straight line, turn it around, and bring it over. Okay. Then, if you can, if this is easier this way, you could do this. Draw a line that goes straight across from here to the other side like that. Okay. Because right here, this is this part right here. Okay. Let's erase those lines in the towers here for now. Just like that. Okay. We'll get back to these spaces in a second. Let's get the rest of the castle here first. Okay. We got these parts over here. So what we're going to do is we are going to come down the side here about to here. I think we'll put a little line coming out like that. Okay. Now, this is a little uneven. This is interesting because the wall here is kind of, oh, I guess maybe that is straight across here. That must be behind it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and put a little line here about the same space down that we did on this side. Okay. What we'll do then is we'll bring it across a little bit like this. Do the same thing on the other side. Then we'll bring it down like this. And where this is here, the bottom of the tower here, what we're going to do is we're going to bring it a little bit short, the line's a little bit shorter rather, and we're going to bring the line over like this. Okay? So it's a little bit higher than where we are down here. Same thing over here. Bring it down. And it's going to be shorter, and we'll bring it back over to here like that. Okay. Then, let's get these towers in here. Very easy. Basically, they're just big cylinders. So what we're going to do is we'll bring this one, we'll bring this up to, see where this curved around on this side? We're going to bring it up just below that. This line is a little bit shorter than where that is. I'm going to round it off a little there. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put a big flattened upside down U like this. Right. And then we're going to come down with it like this. And when you get to the bottom, instead of a straight line across, see how this is slightly curved here? What we're going to do is we're going to slightly curve it. We kind of did the slight frowny face. We're going to do a slight smile down here like that. Okay. And I'm sure you already guessed it. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to come up about this high, just below there. Turn it around and curve it. Put the frown in there. Turn it around like this. Come down with a straight line. And we get to the bottom. Put the slight smile coming across like that. Okay. Chance to catch up there. What we're going to do now is let's put in some of these things up here now. Let's start with a tower right over on the left side here. What we're going to do is I see 1, 2, 3, and there's kind of 4 over here. So what we're going to do, take your pencil over here, and we're going to come down like this, over a little bit, and come back up. Then we're going to move over a little bit further here to about here. We'll come down, over a little bit, and up. Like basically what we're doing is we're putting in little rectangles here, aren't we? Moving over here, putting another rectangle in over here, and over to the side here, I just want you to put a number 1, because that's all we can really see over there. Okay. Now let's go over here. We'll erase part of this in just a second. Let's come back over here, and what I see here is just 1 rectangle, right? We just see 1 right in there. Each of these towers has 2 openings. So we're going to come down and up, another rectangle, skip over here, and put 1 more over here. I'm sure you already guessed it. We're going to do the same thing over here. And then in between, the same thing in between, right? There's 2 spaces, so 1 rectangle here and another one over here. Oh, and same thing over here, just 1 like we did on that side. Okay, give you a chance to catch up there. All right, what we're doing here, I see 1 here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's actually a little bit of 1 there. Real close to here, we could put a number 1 like we did over there. We're going to scoot over here, and we'll put a rectangle here, a second one here, and 1 more over here, like that. Okay. Let's do these sides, and then we'll do a little bit of erasing and put some windows in. Right here, I see, I don't know if you can see this or not, but once again, there's, and that's interesting, there's 1, 2 spaces, but this looks like there's 1, 2, 3. Okay. Maybe I'm not just seeing this correctly, but that's what we'll do. If we see it here, that's what we'll do. So we'll put 1 and 2 over here. And then for some particular reason, we have 1, 2, and then a third one right here. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, well, let's erase these. Take your eraser and very carefully, if you can, erase the top part of those rectangles that we put in like that. All right. Erase it up here, everywhere that we put one of those rectangles. This might take you a minute or two to get them all erased. Do these up here. And then we'll come over and finish it off with the ones over here. Okay. Oh, and these over here. Okay. Always go back in here and fine tune it if you erased a little too much of it. Just by doing that, though, that gives it so much more of a castle feel, doesn't it? Okay. All right. Now, let's go in. There is a line underneath on each of these, isn't there? Underneath the top part of it here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our pencil and curve it around like this. We're actually going to put, we're going to come out a little bit like this. See what I did? It's like looks like a string curving around it. But then we're going to connect them underneath, just like it has over here. Same thing over here. Bring it up and down. Come out just a little bit and back, like it's hooking around there. And then connect them. Okay, we're getting there. All right, now let's do a little bit of the work in here, some of the shapes in here. What's happening here is when we dip down, you see where we put this diagonal line right here? What we're going to do with this diagonal line is we're going to come over and we're going to put, if you can do this, we're going to do 1, skip over a little bit, 2, skip over a little bit, 3, upside down U's, like that. It might take you 1 or 2 tries to kind of get them fairly even. Try to do that. We'll do the same thing on the other side here. From this diagonal line, we're going to come up and down, skip over just a little bit, up and down, skip over, and 1 more, like that. What we're doing are these 3 upside down U's right in here. All right. Now, what we're going to do is, right here, at the bottom of this first upside down U, we're going to put 1, 2 lines coming up like that. You see these little details here? 1, 2 here, 1, 2, 1, 2. Same thing here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And we're going to go over to the side here. I know I'm speeding ahead here. I'll let you catch up in a second here. Right where the diagonal line is on this side here, we're going to come out a little bit. See how it comes up just once? We're going to come up and over like that and put 1, 2. And the same thing on this side here. Come out a little bit, come up and down here for 1 upside down U, 1, 2. Okay. Pause a little bit here for you to catch up here because that was a lot of details. Okay. All right, what we're going to do while you're doing that, what we can do is let's erase a little bit underneath this upside down U. We'll erase a little bit underneath this one because I see we can't, it's all dark underneath there anyway. And then we are going to erase, see this one line along the center? There isn't really a line across that, so we're going to erase that as well. Okay, well, we are getting there. Okay, let's get some of those windows in here. And then we are going to put a couple of these little extra shapes here before we're done. Here, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 windows, don't I? Now, essentially, what is this? It's a very long and thin upside down U, isn't it? Right? So what we're going to do is, right about here, we're going to draw a long and very skinny, it almost looks like a finger, upside down U. Very skinny. Like somebody's doing one finger up. Then we're going to come down here a little ways and we're going to do the same thing. Up and down, very skinny. We'll put another very thin one, almost touching on this side. And there's one more, not here, but it seems to be way up at the top here. Put one more right there. Now these two here, what I'd like you to do the same thing, but bigger so that it comes around and touches like that. Because there's a frame around the window, isn't there? Same thing here. Up and around. There we go. This one here, there's one that's right about in here. There is no picture frame, no window frame rather around there. This one doesn't really either, so we'll scoot down here, but this is a little bit lower than this. So we'll put it a little bit lower, just like that. One skinny finger at a time here. Then there's one on either side up on here. So we'll put one skinny one up here and a bigger one around it because it does have a window frame. One more over here, like that. Then we've got one in the center here without a frame. We have another one, which is really interesting. That one's here, but this one is directly under the other one. Not really symmetrical, the same as the other one. Interesting. And then there's these, this could have been places where they shot arrows out of, actually, probably, but what we'll do is it's a little circle with a little rectangle coming up, and another little circle with a little skinny rectangle there. Let's see here. There's a couple more windows. Let's go over to this tower here. Right over here, there's one skinny upside down U, another one here, and one more over here. And then these all have window frames, so let's put those around there too. Give you a chance to catch up here. Okay. We're getting there. We're almost there. And then I see, I don't know if this is a window. I see a window here and what might have been a window there. So what we'll do is we'll put, this one actually looks like a little rectangle. It's not rounded off at the top. We'll put one more down here. And then let's see. Tell you what, let's finish this off. Technically, you see here, each one of these little rectangles, it comes down a little bit. It's slanted. So if you want to, as a detail, put a line that's just below the top of them like this. And I know I'm going fast here. I apologize. Okay. And oh, one more here too, going across. Okay. There are two more windows. Gosh, there's always windows here, right? Skinny upside down U here. And this one's about the same height, I think, here. Like that. And then those both have frames around them as well, so we'll make them a little bit bigger. Okay. All right. Let's put one more thing in here. I'll talk about the details on the castle briefly, and then we'll put the mode in, and then we're all set. What we're going to do is this wonderful gate here coming down, right here above the entranceway. What I want you to do is I want you to draw some lines coming down very close together, like that. And I'm going to take your pencil and go across very close, like this. So we've got that gate. Okay. Then what we're going to do, right in the bottom here that we've just done, what we're going to do is, all right, let's go to this. We've got this tower here and this tower here. Right, these two here. So from these two towers, what we're going to do is take your pencil and we're going to draw a line that comes out like this and down like that. Same thing over here. This one's a little farther in. We're going to come out like this and down. This is the green part of the grass here. Bring it over. Bring this one over too. And as far as this picture is concerned, I just see it coming down like this. Bring two lines that come right straight out like this for the pathway. Then what we'll do is underneath the castle here, it comes out a little bit. Bring your pencil here and we're going to bring it around like this. And we'll bring it over like this and down like this. So what we're doing is we're just adding a little bit more to every one of these, aren't we? This is the dark part here that has all the moss and the things that are growing up from the moat on it. We'll do the same thing over here. Bring it over. Curve it like this and bring it around like that. Okay. Let's put the water line, which is right behind here, over like this. Put the other water line over here. I'm just going to put in very quickly because I know we're running out of time here. Your fingers are going to start to get numb from all this drawing here. Is I'm going to put some squiggly lines for this tree here. Just a little bit like this. It's just lots of little upside down U's I'm putting together. Over here it comes up, doesn't it? It comes down a little bit and over. Okay. Now there's some greenery here. Real quickly, let's talk about bricks, and then I want to put in a couple of flags here to make it look a little bit more festive. All right, when you're putting bricks on here, you can put every brick, but essentially the bricks are what? They're basically just squares or rectangles, aren't they? So let me start up here. Let's do a row of bricks up here. If I do a row of bricks, we're coming around like this, and what we're going to do is we'll put the bricks going across like this, okay? Then what we're going to do is underneath it, and this actually looks like it's uneven. So what that means is all the lines aren't directly underneath it. They could be just off to the side like this, couldn't they? And when you're putting bricks on a building, I'm going to do this here just to show you, you don't have to put them everywhere all over the whole thing. If you put them in a few places, I put it on the top here, maybe I'll come over here and put a few lines. And if you look, these aren't perfect bricks, are they? They're older ones. So if the lines are a little crooked or not quite straight, some are bigger or smaller, that's even better. Okay, let's get these flags in here. Put a little bit of the water in and we are all set. Okay. What do these flags look like? The shape. I know they're waving in the wind here, but essentially they're what? They're triangles, aren't they? So let's put one in every tower, shall we? And they don't have to be right in the center. So what we're going to do is we'll draw a tall, thin line and bring it back down like that. Let's draw this flag right there. So what I'm seeing is it's coming down like this, turns around, comes up, turns around, comes down like that, up, and then it comes down again, doesn't it? And there's a few little details. There's a line here coming down and another one here. All right, let's move over here. We'll put one here. Let's do this one here. Let's put this one coming up like this. And this one here goes down and up and over, down and up and over. And then we'll bring it around. It comes right down like that. There's a little line here and another one like this, here and here. All right, let's move over here. We'll put one coming up here. Let's put this one in. Oh, this one's fun. This one is actually overlapping, so it comes down like this. We're going to stop. We're going to come up a little bit and over like that. Then we're going to skip behind it and bring the line like this. So look at that. It looks like the flag is flipped over a little bit, doesn't it? Let's put one more over here. Put another tall, thin pole here. And let's see, why don't we put, well, this one's a nice one. If you can see this one right here, what this is doing is it comes over and down, and then up and down, over and down and up and down. back down like this. It comes up like this, so it looks very skinny. We'll come back here and put the rest of the flag like that. There, that makes it look a little bit more festive, doesn't it? And let's finish it off. You don't have any water here, really. So what I'm seeing here, the reflection of the castle is wobbly, it's wiggly. So right underneath this part down here, take your pencil and wiggle it back and forth like this. All right. You can do the same thing on the other side here. Wiggle it back and forth like this. And if you look very carefully, and if you can see this or not, there's a darker place here, a reflection of the darker part over here. So what we're going to do is, let's wiggle another line like this coming down from where the tower is. There's another little shadow or darker part over here. We're going to bring that over. This part here. There's another one over here. And then for the final touch, if you want, I don't know if you can see this, but there's almost like lines. Some of them are dotted lines, like this. Shorter lines, longer ones like this, going across in the water in some places. And that gives the impression of water there, doesn't it? See, just that line with a couple little dashes in different places. There we go. And we've got our fairy tale castle. As we started with the shapes, and we actually started right in the center and then built off of it. So how did you do? I bet you did a very regal and royal job. I'm sure it looks wonderful. And so, until next time, keep on sketching and draw some awesome pictures.